the final months of his life, the man who had spent decades tearing down musical rules, mocking power, and exposing the hypocrisy of the industry was slowly disappearing from the world stage. Frank Zappa, one of the most fearless minds in modern music, was no longer fighting censors, politicians, or record labels. He was fighting his own body. By the early 1990s, Zappa already sensed something was wrong. The fatigue was deeper than exhaustion from touring. The pain was more than stress. Doctors eventually confirmed what he had feared, but refused to say out loud. He was battling an aggressive form of prostate cancer. For a man who built his life on rebellion and precision, this was the one enemy he could not outsmart. Instead of retreating quietly, Zappa made a terrifyingly calculated decision. He would not let the public watch him decay. He vanished from public interviews, canceled future performances, and locked himself inside his home studio, a place filled not with fear, but obsession. Even as his body weakened, his mind refused to stop creating. Friends who visited him during this period described a man who looked physically smaller, but mentally sharper than ever. Surrounded by sheet music, machines, and stacks of unfinished ideas, Zappa worked with desperate intensity. He wasn't preparing to die, he was racing against time to leave behind as much music as possible. His legendary project, Civilization, Phase 3, became a lifeline. While his organs struggled, his hands still moved across keys and buttons. This wasn't just an album. It was a final code, a future message built entirely from logic, sound, and controlled chaos. He wasn't trying to comfort the world. He was challenging it one last time. As the cancer advanced, so did the silence around him. Industry figures who once fought him suddenly spoke of him in whispers. Radio stations that had ignored him now scrambled to understand his importance. And yet, Zappa showed no interest in redemption or emotional closure. He had no desire to be accepted at the end. Behind closed doors, his days followed a brutal routine. Medical procedures in the morning, composition in the afternoon, and mechanical work late into the night. Sleep became optional. Pain became normal. Stopping became unacceptable. By late 1993, his condition was impossible to hide. His voice grew weaker. His weight dropped dramatically. Movement became difficult. But the work never stopped. He spoke less and built more. He planned less and executed more. On December 4th, 1993, the world lost Frank Zappa quietly. There was no dramatic public farewell, no final concert, no goodbye tour. The man who spent his life exposing the absurdity of fame left without a spectacle. He was 52 years old. But his ending wasn't silence. It was a warning. A warning that genius doesn't ask for permission, that real art doesn't beg for acceptance, that systems hate people who think for themselves. In his final days, Frank Zappa didn't become softer. He became sharper. He didn't slow down. He condensed everything he was into his last creations. He left behind not just music, but a challenge. And most of the world still hasn't caught up.